In this video, I'm going to show you how to build your own trend line into a Xcelsius chart. Now, Xcelsius, as of version 4 anyway, doesn't give you the capability of actually adding a trend line to your chart. You have to build it yourself. But what's worse is that the functions that could help you the most in creating your own trend line, the trend function or the linest function, aren't available in Xcelsius, not even in the professional version. In this video, I'm going to show you how to finagle your own trend line using the formulas and functions that are available in Xcelsius. Now, I must warn you, this isn't going to be mathematically exactly accurate. This isn't going to be the trend line that you would get in Excel if you would hit Add Trend Line. But it's going to be directionally correct. So, for example, I've got this dashboard here. It shows from January to December the number of sales that each of my sales reps have brought in. And so what I want is I want to see a trend line that's directionally correct. So when I click on a salesperson here or a sales rep, I should see a trend line that tells me approximately which way the trend is going. And that's really what I'm looking for here. So let's take a look at the Excel model that I used to build this dashboard here, and you'll see it's nothing spectacular, just your average data set. I've got a little section here that feeds my column chart, and next to the section that feeds my column chart is where I'm going to put my trend line column. Now, if I sit back and think about what I want my trend line to be, is essentially a line, right? So what's a line? A line is 2 points, point A and point B. And what I really need is I need my 2 points to tell me directionally where I'm going. So I've decided that the way to do that is to take the average of the first half of my data set and compare that to the average of the second half of my data set. That should give me directionally which way I'm going, either up or down or flat. So what I'm going to do here, since I've got 12 data points in a year, January through December, I'm going to take the average of the first half of my data set, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to take the average of my second half of my data set, average 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I've got my 2 points. So from 63 to 38, that's my 2 points. So directionally, this particular data set here is going down. Now, if I try to chart this in Xcelsius, I would just get 2 points. I would be missing a line between. So in order for me to get the line in between these 2 points, I would need to fill each one of these blank spaces. Now, what I really need, though, is I need the right data points in these blank spaces so that my line will gradually go from this number to this number. So how do I do that? Well, again, it's just some finagling of math here. So what I'm going to do is quite literally take 3803 and then subtract 6320 from that, and that answer is going to give me a number that I'm going to divide by the number of spaces it takes to go down to the end of the data set. So here's what I mean by that. Equals 3803 minus 6320. That gives me $25 or negative $25.17 difference between the two. What I've got to do is I've got to split that difference evenly going down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the number of spaces that goes down here. So it takes me 11 spaces. Now never mind that there's something in here. It literally takes me 11 spaces to get from this point down to the end of the data set. 11 data points. Count them. 11. Okay? Given that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, let's take this answer and divide this by 11. Oops. I'm going to take this answer and divide it by 11. Okay. Now that I've divided it by 11, I get negative $2.29. That means that every time I advance one space, I've got to add negative $2.29, which is essentially subtracting, from this point going down. So let me go ahead and do this. Just for ease of formulas here, I'm just going to say equals this formula, and I'm just going to copy that down. So that means that on every row I've got negative $2.29. So what I'll do here is I'll say equals this trend line plus that number, and then I'll just copy this down. Okay, so now as you can see, not only do I have my point A and point B that tell me directionally where I'm going, I now have my intermediate data points filled in that will provide a line that will get me gradually from point A to point B. And now I've got formulas here. Leave these formulas here. What you're essentially going to chart now is these two columns. Now let's test something real quick. I'm going to change this data point to 1,234 and hit enter. Now when I do that, you'll see that now my trend line is going to be going up from $63.20 to $240, and all my intermediate data points have changed to follow that line. So everything's working perfectly. I'm going to undo here, and I'm going to save this Excel model, and let's re-import the model into Xcelsius. So I'm just going to re-import this model. So once my model is imported, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to remove this column chart, because what I'm going to need now is a combination chart. Now a combination chart will allow me to put columns and a line on the same chart. So just pop in a combination chart here, double click on this. I'm going to go to my data range here and select my data range. I want these two columns. Okay, so I've got two series here. One is going to give me the rep data and one is going to give me the trend line. I'm going to do a couple more things here before we're done for appearance sake. First, I'm going to add the category axis labels, and I'm going to just add that so we can see the months here. Okay, so now we see months right here. Go to appearance. I'm going to scroll down here to series markers. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the show markers. That's going to get rid of the circles here. Okay, now it's got a straight line, and then I'm going to go to trend line. The line color, I'm going to turn that to red. Alright, so now my trend line is red. So I think I'm done here. I'm going to preview this, and let's look. So as I go from sales rep to sales rep, I see a trend line that gives me directionally which way I'm going.